Thank you very much for the introduction, and it's a pleasure to be part of this new format of this new event that you have put together. And I would like to first give a very brief introduction as to what iGEN is, and then to talk about an issue that is not so much in our hands, but that has a very important impact on ourselves, on our industry. So iGEN is an industry trade association that represents the largest gaming companies in Malta. And we've been working for about 2 years now with various stakeholders. And one of the key stakeholders is, of course, the Maltese government. And the topic that I would like to talk about today is the Moneyval assessment. If you have followed over these last few months, few weeks, up to a year ago, Malta is undergoing a review of a number of very wide-ranging of topics with regards to the rule of law, with regards to the prosecution of financial crimes. And all this is part of something that is called the Moneyval assessment. And last year, in 2019, Malta did not pass this test. And the reason why this is relevant for our gaming industry is right now, at this moment, the government is working really hard in order to address the shortcomings that have been highlighted in this assessment. And a number of very important and fundamental changes are happening to the way the rule of law and to the way the prosecution, the investigation and the prosecution of financial crimes in Malta is being done. And if Malta does not pass the next assessment, then there is a very high risk that Malta will be grey listed as a jurisdiction, which will make banking specifically much more difficult for any company that is based in Malta, but especially when it comes to trading with international banking partners, international relationships. And of course, the gaming industry ourselves are very much in this category. The vast majority of our business is done internationally. And therefore, we've been working collaboratively with the government, with the MGA. And I've been in this industry for 8 years, and I can safely say that in these last 8 years, thanks to the MGA and the other regulators, the gaming industry has really increased, has really raised the bar when it comes to the industry. And we have invested a lot into compliance, into KYC practices. And in fact, the gaming industry and the MGA have passed the part of the Moneyval assessment with flying colors. And in our conversations with the government, we have been very specific in requesting and demanding the same level of standards from Malta as a country as the regulator in Malta is expecting of ourselves as key actors. And this is starting to happen. You might have seen this very recent, just yesterday, Robert Abela, the Prime Minister, has announced that Malta will not fail the Moneyval assessment. He is very confident that this will be a success by his government. And I, having worked with his colleagues in these last, actually since the change of government, I have a very good feel in my stomach that this is being addressed in a positive way. And this, of course, is super important for all of us, banking relationships, whether that is player funds or investors. All of this part is extremely important to the operations of any company, whether it's large companies or small startup companies. which is where a lot of the innovation is taking place. And even nowadays, it is quite difficult. I would say that the service that the financial sector, that the banks have been providing to us as a market, as an industry, have been more and more difficult. We all remember the announcement by the Bank of Valletta in September of last year, where a number of bank accounts have been closed down. So it's extremely important that Malta is passing the Moneyval assessment that is coming up. And I would say that in conclusion, from my perspective, I certainly feel confident. We will continue to work closely with the government to ensure that any of the contingency plans or plan Bs that the companies are looking at in case Malta does get grey listed, that these contingency plans would not be necessary. This is certainly the goal.